ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker. Born in Shanghai, China, he was accepted into the Shanghai Opera House as a junior dancer student at the age of 9. 2 years later, he started full-time professional dancing and performing arts training at the Shanghai Academy of Drama and Dance. Later, he received a scholarship admitting him into the Australian Ballet School, Melbourne. Following his graduation, he performed as a principal dancer in many international dance events and became the principal dancer in Canada and at the Hong Kong School of Ballet at the age of only 19. And he has been in the back of the room judging all of your moves. And he said, "I'm the best!" Now, the reason he joined the Asiya family is because he sincerely believes in drinking Asiya for his overall health and vitality. As a dancer for over 20 years, losing the speed of recovery is a pervasive issue affecting many retired dancers and athletes. Since using Asiya, he has found his physical endurance and recovery has increased significantly. Being fluent in Mandarin, Cantonese and local Shanghai dialogue, this enables him to build a substantial business within the greater multicultural community surrounding him. Nowadays, he enjoys sharing Asiya's fantastic products with anyone he comes across. Asiya's business has allowed him to find determination, strength and faith within himself. Could you please put your hands together for one of Asiya's greatest leaders, Triple Diamond Executive David He.
Thank you. By the way, that dance thing Justin did, that was very sophisticated skill. I was at the back, I was like, he could be a really good dancer. But anyway, so today's topic, I'm here, so we actually I just want to, before I start, I want to ask you how many people that you have a Asian person in your team. Can you just put your hands up? Or right, so more than half of you don't have any Asian person in your team. So today's topic is how to expand to Asia. So I was actually, just before I came in here, I met Pam from Sydney, I think one of Justin's team as well. She's a nurse, and we were just talking, and she was asking me if I was on SBS last week. I was like, no, I wasn't on SBS. I wish I was on. But anyway, I said, that's okay, because in your eyes, we all look the same. It's just like you all look the same in our eyes. So, it took me a while. It actually took me a while. Seriously, it took me about a couple of months before I realized the difference between Mao and the Bob. I always thought they were like the same person. I was like, they always look a little bit different, when it's like, wait a minute. Yeah. So the things we're going to talk about is, before I start, I want to share some of the figures. I just got this yesterday from Kim, some of the key figures in our Asian market of Asiya. I don't want to put on a PPT because it's from the corporate. So for 2018, the total open 4 markets we know is Hong Kong, Singapore, Taiwan, and Thailand. The initial target for them is $20 million for that year. 2018 is 20 million US. Anyone know what is the sales figure in Australia? Australia wide?
17.8 million.
There you go, Kim. Yes. So now, at the end of the last year, they achieved 26 million US dollar. And that's because that's only that the Taiwan is the biggest performer, followed by Hong Kong, Singapore, then Thailand. And Thailand was just pre-launched in February 2018, only had a skincare. So for 2019, the Asian sales goal, that's a bit too much, but I think they will be over that. It will be, they estimate will be over $50 million on a single year in these 4 countries. And I think there's the Philippines coming up as well. So it is a massive market. Everybody wants to get Richard in their team, I know, because everybody come to say to me, "Hi, Richard." I'm like, "No, I'm actually David." Like, "Hi, Richard, that was David." but we all want Asian person in our team. As I want as well. But there is going to be a different for you guys to know how to handle certain questions and situations where an Asian team will bring to you. That's what we're here for. So it's a privilege for me. I'm going to bring some of the finest diamonds in this country, and they all are Asian origin, and they have been working very hard and been working with those people shoulder by shoulder for the past 2 years, and most of them you actually never heard that name. It's like, who's that guy? Why is he diamond? Because he's been working very hard under light. Anyway, without further delay, I just want to put everybody give a hands to those diamonds. The first one is Richard Lee, the winner is Ambassador Diamond. Then we have Jesse, our double diamond. And Jenny, our new diamond for 2018. Then our triple diamond, Winnie Wong. Then our new diamond for 2018, Fiona. So here I'm just going to ask everybody some questions, and we're going to drill some holes on their mind. Yeah, I'm just going back. $50 million next year, that's a lot. They're probably eating some really good dumpling down there to make $50 million. That's just insane. Anyway, yeah, so you guys all sit down, that's fine. So some of them, they're not speaking a perfect English, so please excuse me, I need to actually translate the answer, and I need to ask them some of the questions in Chinese. So, but without further delay, the first question I want to ask them is, so far, what is the biggest challenge for you to lead a team into Asia? 你在带团队进入亚洲的时候，进入亚洲时遇到最大的挑战。Let's hear what Richard want to say.
Thank you. Chinese or English?
It's okay. You want a dumpling or sandwich? It's okay. It's okay. What for me?
All right. Okay. Yeah. Good afternoon. Okay. So I got so many. I've been America conventions. I've been cruise. I've been so many conventions, and so many friends from Australia, from America ask me the same questions. So how you guys go that fast? How you guys is that good? Before I answer the questions of David here, can I invite all my teams in this room to stand up? I want you guys to thank. I will express my appreciation to my sponsor Peter and Jill, and Tamo, and Maureen, and our great man Ben Doyle. Okay, in 2017, this guy spent 1 year with me to develop the business. So I worked in, I lived in Melbourne. I spent all my nights and time in Melbourne to study the redox signal, what it is. And then I show my friends here, and then the team just slowly grew up. Okay, I really appreciate what you did for me then. Okay, good man. But I really appreciate Peter and Jill, and the couple spent probably 6 weeks with me to convince me. So the story is why I want to answer the questions. Okay, so this is the example. Peter and Jill spent probably 2 weeks time to talk with me what is the redox, but they didn't understand, and then invite me to the presentations, to Dan Doyle's presentations. So what I want to say is most difficult is communication. Because Asian people, it's not easy to understand so what is the redox is, and because most of their knowledge is nutrition, tablets, exercise. Okay, so the thing is probably we need to spend more time with them to explain it. Is the best. Now the good news is we have the back office, we have the Chinese web documents over there. So you just check on your back office. You can select the Hong Kong or Taiwan and pen to Chinese document there, you can share or email to them and let them understand. Okay, so the communication is the key. Use your mobile, use your email, use your three-way calls. Like Andrea, we did a lot. We did a lot of talking on mobile. So is that time limit?
That's over time already.
Oh, sorry. Okay, anyway.
I can do his head after. He got plenty times. The next question I want to ask Winnie is how did you first launch your ASEA business into Asia? By the way, Winnie Wang is very first pioneer that actually brought ASEA to Hong Kong, and she was, I think, the very first diamond user. She was in Hong Kong long way before we realized that this product can actually. So she's very first. So I'll let her to talk. Yeah.
I ask your permission, can I sit down and talk? Thank you. I always led by products because I am not, at the beginning, right, I'm not a network marketer. So I'm not confident to lead by business. So when I know that Hong Kong was open, open, and then I went to Hong Kong straight away because I have no culture differences and I have no language barriers. So it is much easier and smoother for me to launch ASEA in Hong Kong. So what I have done is I just tell my stories, keep sharing my stories, and also share some stories of my downline in Sydney, Australia. And people these days, I think if they are over 50, probably 9 out of 10 will have a kind of health challenges. So when I share about these redox signaling molecules, they are very amazed because they have never heard something like that. And it is different from nutritional supplements. And they all want to know about it because they want to deal with it, right? Their own body. And this is how I start my business, just like a spiral. At the beginning, the circle is very small, right? But if the spiral continues to spiral, and then my circle of influence grow bigger and bigger and bigger. So just keep sharing it, never stop. And then the spiral will keep spiraling. And this is how I build my business in Hong Kong.
好，谢谢妈咪。现在回答这个问题，你当初怎么把亚洲带入ASEA 带入亚洲市场的？那我给 so just before I just introduce a bit Fiona. She's a very new diamond, and she has been ASEA business for just a little bit over 1.5 years. And she's my personal sponsor downline. And I've not met her before I do ASEA. I think I met her about once a long time ago. But she has been doing the business purely based on one of the Chinese social media, WeChat. But that's what I'm going to get, not what I'm trying to get her to talk to. So her talk is, 你当初怎么把ASEA 带入亚洲市场？
我能说中文吗？
你可以说 Yeah, can I'll translate for you. That's fine.
我在墨尔本有一家代购礼品店。
So she has a nutrition gift shop, nutrition shop in Melbourne.
有一天我的店里来了一个人，然后跟我买ASEA水。
So one person one day walks in, bought a box of ASEA from her.
然后我就会问他，我说你为什么买这个水？然后他跟我回答说，他的妈妈然后得了肠癌，然后需要这个水。然后
Okay,
当
so
时
the lady actually respond back to her that one of her family member has the health challenge. That she heard that product and that she want to buy this.
然后我就跟他说，既然你就是母亲需要这个水，那你不如加入我们的会员，这样的话自用可以就是节约一些钱。然后他考虑了2分钟，然后他就加入这个ASEA。
She just suggest her that rather to buy retail, why don't you just join as a member? Sometimes we call that as a VIP membership or just a membership. Then you can actually order yourself and ship to your home.
这件事情，然后 放了一段时间，大概1个月左右，然后我也没有去管这
So
件。
after time goes by, after a month, she wasn't following anything up or anything. She just took the lady just took the product back home.
然后有一天，我刚好在从中国飞墨尔本的机场上，在等飞机的时候，
So one day she's flying from China back to Melbourne in the airport.
然后他打电话给我，然后跟我说他要做 ASEA。
And she said, oh, then she called Fiona. She said, I've decided to actually start doing this business.
然后1个月后，然后他带了整一个香港的团队进入我们这个团队。
So after the month that, and she brought a lot of people in Hong Kong to join the team. That was I think it was last year. Went through that the market was just open. So yeah.
所以其实说就是你遇到的每一个人，你都应该去分享 ASEA， 然后
So everybody you meet whether they Asian or whatever, you just try to share as many people as you can.
因为它很有可能会给你带来一个巨大的团队。
That one person that will bring you a massive team. So yeah. All right. So, okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm just going to ask the next question. I'm going to speed up a little bit. So does everybody use WeChat? Do you guys use WeChat? Okay. WeChat at the end of 2018, the total user for WeChat is 1 billion active user monthly by end of December 2018. It's one of the most active social media within the region of Hong Kong, Singapore, Taiwan, not Taiwan, but China. Most Asian people you will know, I wouldn't say Asian, most Chinese people you know in this country, Australia, America, or in Europe would more or less have a WeChat platform. A lot of people, I personally know somebody in my team that has been developed a team with over almost 600 people in her team without every single one of them, none of them is her friend. Let's put me this way. All those 600 persons are recruited through WeChat. It's one of the really big. It's different than Facebook. So if you want to know a little bit more, you can talk to me or talk to Richard afterwards. It's a very different tool than Facebook. You can sell things up there. You can buy things. There's group buying. There's all kind of things up there. But anyway, I'll get Jessie because Jessie is our double diamond, and she's the only person that actually I think is very qualified to speak about this business on how to expand on the WeChat.
From Melbourne, and now I speak Mandarin. Yeah, WeChat 我们中国人用的比较多，有点像 Facebook， 但
So
是
many people use WeChat like Facebook.
它可以交朋友，可以
And you can meet friends, you can actually connect, you can actually do business on WeChat.
有的人做广告，有的人做生意。
Some people do advertising, some people do business up there.
因为我们的家人和朋友都是有限的，
So we have limited friends, we have limited family members.
因为你的家人和朋友都说过 ASEA， 你就没有新的客户和潜在的
If
经
you
销商。
if you have spoke to everybody that you know, then you're going to run out of prospect one day.
怎么样找更多的朋友和经销商呢？那我就
So how can you find more people to do this business with you or to share this product with you? That she uses a WeChat app.
先去交朋友，
So she makes lots of friends on WeChat
关心朋友，
and care about them,
等
connect with
熟悉
them.
了以后才约他们出来喝咖啡。
Once the connection is established, she usually come ask them out, have a coffee with her,
也面对面的
and
谈
face to face.
因为你和他不熟悉，后面谈ASEA就是被拒绝，你也不觉得
Because
很难过。
in the Asian community, if you don't know that person well, if they don't trust you, they will not do business with you. So therefore, face-to-face meetings are crucial after the step of WeChat.
所以我们每天都去分享ASEA，总
So
有
every
一
day
天
she
会
shares
成
with
功。
us on the WeChat. Yeah. Okay.
谢谢大家
Right.
，Thank you。
No worries. And the next, I'm going to skip one question, but that's all right. So we've got limited time. The next question is, what is your biggest challenge so far for you to expand into Asia? And this person is not actually on stage. He has a very new diamond. And Ben, will you come please join me? He's very, very, 庞博你过来 He's very, very humble. He's very low profile. He doesn't want to us to know he's a diamond, but he's a diamond. So Ben has run a very, very different business than any of our diamonds on this stage. He has a triple diamond. He has a diamond in his team in New York. So this topic I want to tell you guys was you don't need to go to Asia to actually have an Asian team. There's Asian people everywhere. I know. Yeah. There's Asian people everywhere. So I'm just going to ask him to share a little bit how does he expand the Asian market, not in Asia, but it's actually in New York. 你就说一下你在纽约怎么打开你的这个市场。你说中文，我可以说。
我还是说英文吧。
OK， 好。
I'll speak Chinese. Try to speak Chinese. I'll try to speak English. Thank you so much. I immigrated to Australia 2 years ago, and I'm so lucky that Richard, the only one of the two friends I know here in Melbourne. And he introduced Asia to me. I don't believe this stuff at the first. But you know, Australia is an immigrant country. We have rich cultures here. We have many Asians, like our Chinese, Indian friends, and from all over the Asia countries. And so, you know, ASEA is such a great product and breakthrough technique. So we just share to our friends, to our family members, and all over the world. You know, we are Chinese. There are many Chinese in the United States, in Canada, in Australia, and so I'm so lucky that I think everybody here who are on ASEA are lucky as me. So just keeping sharing, and we can help others. That's all. Thank you.
I've got 5 minutes here, but 2 minutes. Is that according to you? Oh, he's doing his job too good. So the last question is, you know, I think with all of them, they share a little bit, and you can actually see it's, although if you look at the top 10 network marketing company, there's going to be America, China, Malaysia, Taiwan, and all these is probably 6 of countries that are from Asia. And obviously, Asian people are very good at this. You know, they bring momentum in that. But I think through this, I hope that everybody understand to deal with Asian people is just no different than trading with other races people, because you're going to need patience, you're going to need cultivating to actually let that seed to grow. So the last question is, I want to ask Jenny is what is the biggest challenge so far for you to expand into Asia? 就进入亚洲最大的一个面对的挑战。
Okay, so for me, I have the two biggest challenge. The first one, I never have a network business experience. Actually, by the way, I hate it. I don't like it. Whatever the people tell me, I say, oh, what do you want? Even my husband, he's German, we are very stubborn. The people tell us some supplement or whatever others, okay, we can get it from chemist. We never think about. So that's the biggest challenge is myself. How do I tell myself that's a good product? But since we got introduced from Richard and Jesse, we take the product, we saw all the results from ourselves, and then through 2 years, we really truly believed. And over 2 years now, I always tell myself every day, I'm ASEA. Another big challenge is I have some friends or relatives living in Taiwan, so that's Asia. So that's the distance for us. For me, also, it's the biggest challenge. If you have friends or they downline in other country, you have to fly to their face-to-face. I give them a bit of training. And I have to leave my handsome husband, and my teenage daughter in here, Melbourne. So sometimes I miss them so much. So we have to, every day, like I call them, I love you, I miss you, something like that. That's the biggest challenge. Yeah, so 2 for me. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. So my conclusion for today is really, like, I want to repeat this, is first, like, you don't actually need to go to, I know, you know, to pay a ticket to all the way going to Hong Kong, Singapore, it's going to cost you time, it's going to cost you money. But look at the resources around you. You have a limited resource of Asian market just within this country. There's a lot of Asian people here. We are everywhere. You know, just everywhere. There's a lot of people that are willing to do the business with you if you actually cultivate them correctly. And the next conclusion I want to ask you is to actually really, last time when somebody asked Fiona in the Vanuatu, the island tour, when people ask, you know, how can you teach me to expand to China? And her answer is very simple. To know a Chinese person, you need to start to know an Asian person. They are not Chinese, but Asian person, to actually use your culture to actually share your culture to his or her culture, and you just swap backwards, and that your relationships are building, and one day this seed will actually become a tree for you. Thank you.